Welcome to this free immigration help channel. Today is April 26, 2024, and we are getting into the volume 201 of me answering your immigration related questions. As always, before beginning this video, I'm going to mention, as I mentioned in every video, I am not an immigration attorney. This is not legal advice. All the information provided in these videos, on this channel in general, are directly from official government sources like USCIS and of course Department of State with their visa bulletin. So let's start with the very first comment from user PY4TP. Sorry, sometimes YouTube does not show me the names. Dear USCIS, I am American US citizen mother. I'm a healthcare worker. I sponsor my children from Guyana to come in the US. I them have they a proven letter already. Okay, so they already approved by USCIS. I sponsor my children since 2019. Okay, please help me and my children. Tenzu, we waiting for the next step. Okay, thank you very much for your question. So first of all, let me clarify, I'm not affiliated with any of the government agencies. This channel is not part of USCIS or anything like this. Now, I do need a little bit more information to give you kind of rough estimates. So if you're a US citizen and you're sponsoring your children from Guyana, so they're in all chargeability area. But here's the thing. If your children are under 21, which I don't think they are, because if they were, I think by now, everything they would have already probably gotten their immigrant visa. They would have already, been here. Because they would have been in immediate relative category, because that's how you're processed as a child under 21 of a US citizen. So most likely they are over 21 and you're petitioning for them. So there's two possibilities. They are either in F1 category, which is unmarried sons and daughters over 21 of US citizen, or F3, which who are married sons and daughters of US citizen who are over 21. So we're gonna look at the visa bulletin, and we're gonna look at both categories. So they're from Guyana, you're from Guyana, so it's all chargeability area. So F1 currently is on July 2015. F3 is on January 2010. So there is quite a lot of a difference between the two, about 5 years difference, but assuming that they are in F1, and you let me know in a follow-up comment if they're married or if they're not, and if I'm getting that information correct. July 2015, depending on which months you filed it back in 2019, looks like you have about 4 more years before the priority date becomes current, before the immigrant visa becomes available. Now, as far as the next step goes, which would be documentary qualification with the NVC through the NVC portal, if we're looking again at F1, we're looking at September 2017. So about 2 more years before the NVC portal opens up so that you can start your documentary qualification process. So as of right now, if your children are in F1 category, and if I'm getting it correctly, if not, please let me know in a follow-up comment. As of right now, there is really not much for you to worry about or be concerned about. You're really just waiting for and you will be notified as soon as your NVC portal opens up. You most likely already, if you're already approved by USCIS, most likely you already received the email from NVC with the case number, with the invoice number. Just keep it recorded somewhere and you will get the notification. Obviously, pay attention to the visa bulletin, and closer to the dates, once you're about 6 months from the NVC portal opening up, start doing the research on documentary qualification. I do have a video on this channel that describes the documentary qualification in detail. It shows the actual NVC portal that was documentarily qualified, and you can see which forms you need to submit, which documents, which fees you need to pay, and you can start collecting all of that when you're closer. And I recommend it to everyone, whoever's watching. If you are not, if your NVC portal is not open yet, and when it's going to be open, about 6 months before becoming current on graph B, dates for filing, which is the graph that shows when the NVC portal is going to be opening up for you, start collecting everything start collecting everything so that once the NVC portal opens up, you can submit it as soon as possible. You're prepared and you can streamline what's on your part. Unfortunately, a lot of things we just have to be patient, but some of the things that from our side, we can do our best to make them as streamlined as possible. Okay, let's move on to the next one. Again, from user, sorry, no name. Mine used me, but never got papers. So that was on a comment on a video. I think my husband married me for a green card. I'm very sorry this happened to you. Unfortunately, it does happen quite a lot. And that's one of the reasons why, whenever it comes to... That's one of the reasons why conditional permanent residence exists in the first place. Because there's a lot of fraud, unfortunately. People are, using... And they're hurting themselves. They're hurting people who they are, lying to. And it's terrible. Unfortunately, it's terrible. Because it doesn't benefit anyone. It doesn't benefit themselves. If you got a green card by marrying someone just for a green card, so now you have to go through divorce, I guess, because you married that person just for a green card. That's not fun, It's terrible. I really am sad that this happened to you, and I'm sad that this even is the case and it happened. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Nawaz Sharif 1087. What's the expiry duration of green card? Okay, so it really depends. The best way to answer that question is look at the card itself, and there is an expiration date there. That is the best way to answer that, because depending on how you're getting your green card, based on which status you're getting your green card, if it's a conditional permanent residence, it's going to be different expiry date. If it's based on asylum, it's going to be different expiry date. So just look at the card, look at the expiration date on the card. That's the best way to tell. Okay, let me post a response here, and we're going to move on to the next one from Isaac Rubio. Hi sir, I need help for this situation. I'm at this point. Where can I send you message? Okay, Isaac, thank you for your question. So the only way you can send me a message is through this channel, through the comments. I don't receive any emails. I don't receive any personal message. This is not a service. This is free immigration help. And in order to keep it that way, otherwise it's going to be a service, otherwise it's going to be consultation, and by law I cannot do that. So I don't provide any consultation services. If you have any questions, post them. Obviously don't post any personal identification details, but describe your case, what's going on, and I will try my best to give you answer based on, whatever the information is from the government sources. Okay, so let me post the response here, and we're going to move on to the next one from Khalid Minhas 143. Hello, I have a question. I finished document filing in last year. Now I'm waiting for interview. All right. When filing, I almost get aged out. Fortunately, I didn't. Now I'm fearing that I will age out in the waiting time for the interview. Can you give me some information? Okay, Khalid, thank you for asking your question. So it really depends on which category you're in, because for immediate relative categories, the age freezes. As soon as the petition is filed, as soon as USCIS receives the I-130 petition, that's it. The age is frozen. You cannot age out. No matter how long the application takes, that's it. If you are under 21 when the petition was filed, received by US technically, which is pretty much same time, it's like a week, 2 weeks different. So your priority date, basically, the day when USCIS accepted your I-130 petition, your age is frozen. That's not the case for all the other 4 family preference categories, all right? And as far as aging out goes, under the CSPA, Child Status Protection Act, there is a certain amount of time that you can subtract from your age on the day of the interview. And that's the amount of time your petition was pending with USCIS. So if your petition was pending with USCIS for, let's say, 2 years, and then it was approved, transferred to NVC, and then it took some time to get the NVC done, and lots of stuff. Long story short, on the day of the interview, you are 22, right? So you would think, well, now I'm 22, so I aged out. Well, under CSPA, you can subtract those 2 years the petition was pending with USCIS, and that brings you down to 20 on the day of the interview, and you qualify under CSPA as a child. All right, but that's only with USCIS. It does not count the NVC. It does not count how long you're waiting for the backlog. So in order for us to do some calculations here, and we're gonna have to do that. I'm not a fan of calculations, but what I'm gonna need is your family preference category, your priority date, how long the petition was pending with USCIS, and then we will. It's still gonna be rough estimates because we don't know how long we're gonna be waiting for the interview, but we can at least kind of see if you fall anywhere close and if it's possible for you to qualify under CSPA or not. So let me know these details in the follow-up comment. For everyone, if you're posting a follow-up comment, please don't respond to my comment within your comment because I don't get notifications for those. Submit it as a separate comment under any video, doesn't matter, and it will show up on this wall. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Carla Friel 9451. Thanks so much for your answer. Carla, you're very welcome. Hopefully my answer was helpful. Moving further to Nasir Talib. Nasir, thank you very much for being publicly subscribed. I appreciate that. Thank you for the 200 videos. This is a great service, and I'm glad to have meet you. My heart goes out to Wali. Yeah, poor Wali. Man, I still think about Wali's family. So if you don't know what happened with Wali, watch volume 200. It just shows how how ruthless the system is, and that's why it's important to know what potentially might happen. And I'm glad Khalid, he's asking a question, because if there is a possibility to age out, if there is a possibility that something might not go as you planned, you want to have some kind of backup plan. And if you are working on a backup plan already, it's a lot easier to handle the stress from unexpected situations. And can relate to his distress. Me and my family have been waiting for our immigration I-130 F3 since August 31, 2010 from Pakistan. Approved November 17, 2014. Recent, my visa bulletin moved and I am 3 months, I'm assuming, away from filing date to be current. I will need a lot of your advice, and we'll try and watch the other 199 videos for more information. Thank you and stay blessed. Nasir, blessings. Thank you very much. I appreciate your kind comment. Yeah, of course, absolutely. Whatever questions you have, you're more than welcome to ask them. All right, let's move on to the next one from Official Sanam 5. Hi sir, I'm from Pakistan. My case F2A, my priority date 2017, documentarily qualified 23rd June 2022. How long my interview date? Please tell me, thank you. All right, so let's take a look at the visa bulletin. So you are F2A, which is spouses, children of permanent residents, and your priority date is 2017. So let's take a look at the visa bulletin. And you're from Pakistan, so you have been already current for quite some time now. You have been current for a while now. It's hard to tell with the visa bulletin as of right now, because we had, especially for F2A, in the past, I would say 6 months, we had some significant jumps ahead. So currently, between what I'm trying to say is between your priority date and the priority date on the May 2024 visa bulletin, there's a difference of almost 5 years. But it does not mean that you have been current for 5 years, because and it was, I know for a fact, because I make a video every month on the visa bulletin, there was jumps of 3 months, 6 months ahead. So I would say potentially you have been already current on the visa bulletin for at least 2.5 years, I would say. Now, Pakistan, I know from a lot of comments from people from Pakistan waiting for interview, U.S. Embassy in Islamabad is quite busy. There's a lot of immigration flow, immigration traffic going through that embassy, so people are waiting longer than usual for their interviews to be scheduled. Now, because you've been waiting for this long, because you've been already documentarily qualified for some time, your priority date has been current for some time, what I would suggest you do is reach out to the US Embassy in Islamabad and ask them. Say, hey, I've been current for however long you've been current. Let them know. Say that you're already documentarily qualified, that your immigrant visa is already available or should be already available. And you wanted to see when they scheduled the interview for. Because most likely they already scheduled your interview. You just don't know it yet because they can only announce you the interview date 30 days before the interview date. So let's say if your interview is scheduled for September 1st, 2024, you are not going to find out until August 1st, 2024. Very rarely they do it 60 days in advance, but most of the times it's 30 days in advance. And they do that because you have to do the medical examination within those 30 days. So if you want to, it's a slim chance because a lot of times they say, oh, sorry, we cannot give you that information, but it's worth a shot. If they give you, great, come back to this channel. I'm sure everyone will appreciate knowing how long approximately the wait time is in Islamabad. I'm scrolling down to I should be scrolling down to P. So here we go, Pakistan. Bad gateway. Wow, I wonder why. So for whatever reason, there's a bad gateway for this website. They're probably doing some kind of maintenance. But I'm gonna copy you the link. That's the link that will open up the embassies that are in Pakistan, and you will have the phone number there. So if it's still not working, I've never, oh, there you go. Yeah, so it was temporary. So there you go. So here's their phone number, and let me post it here. Don't be upset. Don't argue with them. If they tell you no, we can give you that information, don't argue with them. Don't be upset. Most of the times they don't give you that information, but it's worth a shot. And if there's anyone watching this video and you are from Pakistan and your interview was scheduled, your family immigration interview, please respond to official Sanam and let her know how long you waited, because that's the best. And honestly, wherever you're in the world, if you had your immigration interview scheduled, please let us know. Just comment with the country that you're from and how long you waited. Your category would be helpful too, because that's the best indicator to know how long the US Embassy in a particular country has the wait period before the interview is scheduled. Okay, let's move on to the next one from, let me copy this really quick. Deacon Tipaji Boshar. Thanks, sir. I have been documentarily qualified and been approved since July 10, 2023. My husband is a US citizen. I'm from Liberia. Okay, you're very welcome. So you're already documentarily qualified. You have been approved since 2023. That means you have been, your immigrant visa was available as soon as the application was filed because your husband is a US citizen. So that means you're in the immediate relative category. So the only thing you're waiting for is interview. Now, I'm not sure how busy US Embassy is in Liberia, but typically it seems to be somewhere around 1 year people are waiting on average for their interviews to be scheduled. Now, that number might be going down. Hopefully we will see it going down in the next 6 months to a year, because a lot of this, it's not a backlog that we're waiting for the immigrant visa to become available. It's the delay in scheduling of the interview that is experienced by a specific US Embassy in a specific country. And the reason why we had this accumulation of wait in that particular category is because we had, a year and a half ago, this complete stoppage of interviews due to this whole pandemic shenanigans. So so now that embassies are working around the world again and they're scheduling the interviews, hopefully we will see them catching up. Yeah, hopefully. Just, wishful thinking. We'll see. All right, let me post a response here. We're going to move on further to Parveen Derseethu 4297. How to file application for asylum. Okay, so the asylum application is I-589, application for asylum and withholding of removal. It's available on the official government website, uscis.gov. I'm gonna get you the link. I do have the video on how to fill out that application. Here it is. And let's see if it's available. I don't know if it's available online. It used to be last time. I think if you go through this filing instructions tool, I think it opens up and it gives you the opportunity to fill this application online. But again, don't take my word for it, because they all, no, look, actually yes, if you're eligible to file form, review where to file and special instructions section below to learn whether you may file your form I-589 online or if you must file by mail. So it looks like for some of the applicants you still can file online, and for some you can't. So this is the page where you can find all the answers, and I do have the video on I-589. But again, keep in mind that USCIS, they constantly update their stuff, so some of the things might be different. But if you have any questions along the way, don't hesitate to ask them here. So let me post the link for this, and we're gonna move on to the next one from Then DDAU, definitely mispronouncing that. Hello sir, I hold R1 visa religious worker, and last month I received a denied I-485 letter because of my case is not visa bulletin available at such time. I see. My priority date is December 2022 and my R1 visa will be expired on July 2024. Okay, so pretty close. And my EAD will be expired on May 2025. So for legal status waiting visa bulletin, should I renew R1 visa or EAD visa, sir? Please help me clear that. I am confusing this. Thanks a lot. Okay, thank you very much for your question. So I'm not familiar. I've never had a case throughout when I was working under the immigration attorney as a paralegal and dealing with cases. I never had anything from a religious worker. So I'm not personally familiar with R1. But if you know that it can be renewed, and you can find out from the I don't even know if R1 is immigrant or non-immigrant. Because if you're applying for the adjustment of status, I'm assuming the R1 is the immigrant visa. I'm not sure. But let me take a look at I-539, which is the application to extend or change non-immigrant status, and see if the R1 is even under this. Let's see. So you must not file a form I-539 to request an extension of stay or change of status for, okay, so R1. It's a non-immigrant visa, so you must not file I-539. So it definitely does not work for you. So I would assume that because you're a religious worker, you're working under a certain religious institution that have sponsored your R1 visa, and it's a non-immigrant visa. But I guess there is some kind of way to get an immigrant status through being a religious worker. If I'm confusing that, please clarify that, because like I said, I'm not personally familiar with it. But if you know for a fact that you can extend the R1 status, and if you know for a fact that on the visa bulletin you're waiting for it to be current, yes, you need to maintain the legal status, and yes, you do need to file an extension for R1 if such is allowed. And I would assume that it would go through your sponsor in most of the cases. Whoever your employer is in this situation would be a religious institution. So you would have to talk to them. And as long as they're most likely, the reason why the I-539 is not allowed for you to be filed is because I-539 you file as an applicant yourself. But whenever it comes to having the employer-employee relationship, in your situation, you're a religious worker under religious institution, so religious institution would be your employer technically in this case. They are the ones who are filing the petition to extend your status on your behalf, if that makes sense. So that's who you would need to be working with in order to accomplish that. But one thing that I can answer you for sure is that yes, 100% you do need to maintain your legal status. Whatever it is kind of immigration status that you're waiting for, as of while you don't have that, you do need to maintain your non-immigrant status so that your duration of stay that you have under your R1 visa does not expire, because if that does, that's going to be a problem, and you definitely don't want that. So hopefully that helps. Sorry if I could not give you more information, because like I said, I'm not personally familiar with the R1 visa types, but as far as the status goes, yes, definitely try to maintain it and don't let it expire. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Pradu Manrana 3140. Sir, priority date 2001, documentarily qualified 5th February 2024, case type F4, location India. When should I expect my interview date? Okay, so you have been documentarily qualified just 3 months ago. Congratulations, that's awesome. So you've done most of your waiting, because F4, there's quite a long wait. But let's take a look at the visa bulletin and see. So India is on January 2006, and your priority date is in 2001, and you just now have been documentarily qualified, when you should have been documentarily qualified, I would say about 4 years ago at least. So let me ask you, did you have any kind of problems becoming documentarily qualified? Did you experience any, and it's easy, don't, it's really not it's not uncommon. It's not uncommon. On a lot of cases, you submit documents, they're not happy, they want additional documents, they want a different document, and they do not documentarily qualify you on the first try. It's normal, it happens a lot. But the reason why I'm asking is because it seems like your delay is a little bit longer than necessary. But anyway, you are current on the visa bulletin, and you've been current now for, I would say, quite a while. But the problem with that is that you just now became documentarily qualified, and that is a little bit the issue. That is a little bit of a delay, because just now your immigrant case has been transferred to the US Embassy in India, where now it's going to be processed for you to for your interviews to be scheduled. And US Embassy in India, I know from a lot of comments, from people from India, and in general, if you look at the visa bulletin, India has a separate chargeability area, and that's the reason why is because the immigration numbers from India are heavier than from other countries around the world. So you still have, I would say, about at least year and a half, I would say more, about 2 years before your interview is scheduled. But again, I would really appreciate people from India, if you had your interview scheduled recently, I would really appreciate you commenting and letting everyone know how long you waited for your immigrant visa interview. But yeah, Prad Yuman Rana, sorry, I'm mispronouncing the name. You should have gotten it. You shouldn't have gotten it earlier. So yeah, I wonder why. If you can, let me know why you had a little bit of a delay in the documentary qualification, because your immigrant visa has been available now. Well, it's hard to tell exactly. It might even be longer than 4 years, 5 years, because for F4, and I personally look at F4 all the time myself, because I have a petition in F4. It has not been moving for a long time. Okay, let's move on to the next one from Meena Singh 9075. Hi sir, I just wanted to thank you for your answer in volume 192. I'm a spouse petition from Trinidad. I appreciate what you do for the people. Like, comment, and subscribe. Bless. Meena, you're very welcome. I hope my answer was helpful. All right, let's move on to the next one. Probably the last one for today, from Muhammad Tahan Nasir 2545. I wanted to apply a visit visa from UAE. Can you assist me in that, please? Step-by-step process. Muhammad, so it's pretty straightforward. Honestly, you don't need the assistance. All you do is you go to the US Embassy website that is located in UAE, United Arab Emirates. So I'm assuming in Dubai would be the US Embassy. But this is where you can find all the information. I'll post the link. So UAE, let's scroll down to that. United Arab Emirates. Here we go, US Embassy in Dubai. No, it's Abu Dhabi. I'm looking at it and I'm saying the wrong thing. In Abu Dhabi, so let me click on that. And there should be, wow, so fancy. See, so menu, they should have a section for non-immigrant visas because you're applying for a visitor visa. And it's taking quite a while to load. I need a US visa. That's it. That's what we need. So let's click on this. I've never been on this website, so please be patient with me. So visa types we have. What is a visa? We don't need to know that. So visa type, tourism and visit. That's it. This is what we need. So let me, wait, is that the right website now? This is Department of website. Department of State website. Visitor B. Yeah, but this is not for... I guess so. So you do apply through this, I'm assuming, how to apply. Let's see. Wait, transfer embassy consulate. That's not what we need. B1, B2. So that's what you're going to be applying for. How to apply. So the instructions on US Embassy and Consulate website. That's where I'm at. Let's see. Yes, we already know. So for short-term visit to the United States for tourism business, that's what you're going to be applying for. You can go directly to the online application form DS 160. Yes, that's what we need. Okay, there you go. Perfect. So select the location where you will be applying for this visa. So we're going to select, where is Abu Dhabi? It is Abu Dhabi, right? Yeah, that's where it says. Okay. There's no Abu Dhabi here. Interesting. Let's scroll down. Maybe there's UAE. Oh, so it goes by country. All right. So United Arab Emirates. There you go. Abu Dhabi. Oh, United Arab Emirates, Dubai as well. So there's both in Dubai and Abu Dhabi. So whichever one is more convenient for you. You can do it in Abu Dhabi, you can do it in Dubai. So select whichever one. Changes the language to Arabic. So now you know, pretty straightforward. Enter the code. Test the photo. So you need to be prepared. You have to have pictures. Start an application. You fill out the application, the form DS160. It's pretty straightforward. Your name, your personal information. Once you do that, sometimes for different US Embassy, it might ask you for payment online. Sometimes you pay it in the embassy. It really is embassy specific. And yeah, then you either get your interview scheduled or you do have an option, a calendar where you can select the interview date. You schedule that, you get all your documents, and you go for an interview, and hopefully they approve you. So that's really it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paste two links. I'm gonna post a response first of all, and I'm gonna do link 1, this, just so that you have US Embassy in Arab Emirates, and I'll put link 2 for the actual application. There you go. All right, everyone, thank you very much for all your questions. Hopefully my answers were helpful. If you have any follow-up questions, as always, don't hesitate to post them in the comments. Just make sure don't respond to my comment within your comment. Like I said earlier, post it as a separate comment and I will try to get to it. Thank you very much. God bless, and I'll see you all in the next video.